Biggest crypto whale just got liquidated for $100 million plus. But is it all so simple? Is he really this guy who is trading these perps out there? Did Hyperliquid just paid someone and created a giant promotion out of that? Did he just launch his own meme coin and rugged it in order to farm on this cloud? And in reality, he's just paying someone Hyperliquid to show his account under his name. Today, we're figuring out all that. Who is $100 million whale? What are the conspiracy theories out there? And what is exactly happening on this market at this stage? Press the like button and let's get into it. James Wynn just got liquidated for $100 million. To be fair, the whole position is $100 million. Margin there was around $6.5 million, but he was in profit for $80 million and he just got liquidated, which is pretty insane. Should we get James Wynn back on the show today? Would love to know how he feels. Ran essentially would like to ask about how the person feels after $100 million liquidation. It might be a bit hard in terms of actually figuring out and finalizing if the guy actually got liquidated for $100 million, or is he just LARPing, just paying someone to rename his Hyperliquid account under his name and just LARP on X and rock his own meme coin. Because if you'd ask about that, would someone with $80 million actually have a need in rugging his own meme coin on DEX Screener on Solana? I doubt that. James Wynn is a prime example why most scammers, ruggers end up losing it all. They don't ever learn the value of an honest dollar or the actual effort put into making money. Easy comes, easy goes. Why? Why Scooter is actually saying something like this about James Wynn? He's anonymous as well. I think he was rugging before too. Why he's saying that James Wynn is a scammer? Because everyone is talking about this guy. Giant $1 million positions out there. Can he be a Web3 scammer? Why everyone is talking? Why everyone is putting a scammer on the pedestal and saying that he's essentially the main character at this stage? We'll figure this out as well. Today, well, James Wynn got liquidated for 949 Bitcoin, $99.3 million, as Bitcoin price dipped below $105,000, losing over 99 million in just 1 week. Pretty insane. I'd rather be somebody for a day than a nobody for a lifetime. James Wynn. We also have to figure out how this guy made this money in the first place, how he actually was able to acquire such a capital. What was his ticket into essentially having this type of money? Because even if he did not trade this money himself, to pay top whale on Hyperliquid is not an easy task as well. James Wynn lost $100 million gambling on perps in a week and got liquidated. Here's what he could have done with that. Mid-sized jet, 20 million, modern mansion, 20 million, massive castle, 20 million, full garage of hypercars, 10 million, 2 and CryptoPunks, 10 million, and still 20 million to spend or gamble. This post is full of pain because each and every one of us probably has a bunch of these painful stories out there. So let's just move on. You guys are missing the point. James Wynn scammed people for years. For years, this guy tried to force people to send him millions of dollars in allocations and payments. He must simply lose it all. It is the only way. It's interesting why the second person that we're checking out is saying that James Wynn is actually a scammer, the main guy out there. I do believe some news outlets actually writing articles about him. It's very interesting to actually finalize and understand this thing. And now we're coming to the origin story, how James Wynn actually made his money. So it's quite interesting because the wallet on Ethereum is also called JamesWynn.Ethereum, right? And it just may be that the same type of operation is actually being used the second time. In first, he paid someone to rename his .eth name to his X account, right? So he would be able to LARP and infinitely make money on. Because if you also think about some person having 10, 15, 20, $30 million in Pepper, would he be actually supporting and launching so many rocks out there? And if you think that Moonpeak is the first coin that he essentially launched, let's look at this stuff. This is Wynn. This is essentially the coin that James Wynn did in an honor of himself, right? It came up right around July of 24th, which was the last wave of this Ethereum meme coin in the last year, right? Before the eventual market drop under $50,000 Bitcoin. This thing went to zero. Non-things can actually went to zero in this manner only if the supply is not controlled and only if the supply is not being dropped by the team, by the owner of this coin in this first place. Do you think that someone, because at that time he still probably had, if it was his wallet, right? He had 15, 20, $25 million in the first place. Would someone like this actually need to create an 8 million meme coin and rock it, take money from people who trust him because of his X presence, persona. And the same type of picture is actually just been played out second time, right? Because it was a very famous wallet on Ethereum that held a bunch of Pepe that was called jameswynn.eth, right? And the same thing is happening currently. Suddenly, account on Hyperliquid appears that is called James Wynn on Hyperliquid, right? He starts to push his meme coin, his other meme coin out there, and so far, the situation with this one, it kind of look like it's actually being rugged as well, right? It's like insane. It's 85% down in this stage, and there were proofs on X that they found the connections between different wallets that are proven to be James Wynn's wallets, that he actually has a bunch of supply of this thing and he was dumping a bunch of this thing as well. So think about that. First time the guy essentially asked some Pepe whale to change his .eth account to his name, right? He was able to farm a bunch of money on the whole setup. He was able to rack so many meme coins. He was able to push and so it was absolutely crazy at that time, right? And right now, he's just playing the same type of operation, just that this time he actually launched his own meme coin instead, and he is rugging his own meme coin, extracting way more, because from $80 million in market cap coin, if you just rug it fully, you probably would be able to extract at least 8 million. And that's if you are rugging in one single red candle. If you're doing it slowly into the volume and you give people hope, yeah guys, buy in, it's very, very nice looking chart, you probably would be able to extract even more. The Pepe flip that made him a god. Wynn aped into $7,000 worth of Pepe early when it was under a 600,000 market cap. He sold for $25 million and made meme coin history. This is the trade that made everyone take him seriously, right? And following the information I'm sharing, you probably have huge questions at this stage. Can you actually trust anything in this space? Because he's just playing the same schema the second time. The only reason people were saying that this was his wallet is because it had his name on it. But most likely, as some people are seeing currently at this stage, he paid someone Hyperliquid to change their wallet name to his name, and most likely he did this already with Ethereum wallet as well. It's definitely quite genius, right? Because think about that, the guy could have been nobody, right? He just did these things. He first farmed a bunch of money with a bunch of Ethereum meme coins, a bunch of meme coins out there, and people that know, people that are in this space. You are guys missing the point. James Wynn scammed people for years. For years, this guy tried to force people to send him millions of dollars in allocations and payments. No one who has tens of millions of dollars in Pepe is actually doing that. It's just not something you essentially would be doing. It's just a genius marketing ploy in a way, and in a way, like the execution of the whole stuff was a bit weak as well, because usually the way James Wynn speaks, like, it's very weak. The lies that he was sharing, it's set up in a very, very weak way. Like some people say that he's from the UK. I'm not buying that. I do think he's based somewhere in Southeast Asia, right? Let's move on. James Wynn be like, $85 million isn't cool, you know what's cool? Losing it all for Twitter cloud. Yeah, it's not like that. He farmed on fees, he was able to onboard people on Hyperliquid. Maybe it was a private deal with Hyperliquid, which probably was not set up this way, but in the process it probably became one, right? He farmed a bunch of money from his meme coin, right? And he probably would be able to farm some more because he's getting invited into shows. And these things, I think they're not just coming this simple as well. Moonpig chart equals James Wynn P and L chart, exactly as we see here. James Wynn, it wasn't the who turned out to be the coolest, but his friend. He simply sent James a referral link, and thanks to Wynn's huge trading volume, he received 3 million in commission without doing anything at all. That's quite interesting. That's just the way that the guy who referred James Wynn wallet in Hyperliquid made $3 million just based on volume, right? I'm not 100% convinced whether or not James Wynn essentially is a LARP at this stage, right? I will share some more information. You'll probably a little bit more clarity on the situation out there, but it's weird. It's weird that he was chilling, he was ragging meme coins left and right. Like no one with tens of millions of dollars in Pep actually would be doing that. This has to be craziest 1 week panel in crypto history featuring James Wynn, or the guy he just paid to change his name to James Wynn. James Wynn had to sell a lot of Moonpig. You gotta understand, guys, that poor fellow lost a lot with his 40x leverage. Keep holding and garbage, it'll probably go down to 5 million market. Or he didn't actually lose anything. Some guy that he paid was losing anything, because if you think about that, it's way harder to trade publicly. And I essentially, unfortunately, experienced this myself. I would even say that if I did not have this YouTube channel in the first place, I'd probably be doing much better in my crypto investments and in the things I was doing on this market overall. I am quite close to confident that I will be doing much better, because like ego comes in the way, you start to play with it, you start to do stupid shit. It's way harder to actually be doing these things publicly. And if James Wynn just paid someone Hyperliquid to change his name, just because the guy changed his name, he became public, very, very public, it already made it way more complex for this guy to actually trade profitably. Don't take anything into account, like just be sharp, just be calm, because yeah, like these ego things, they come into way. So Moonpeak right now at this stage, right? The guy said that, yeah, James Wynn has to sell his Moonpeak because he lost so much. What if he didn't lost anything? What if the guy that he paid lost a lot, that he paid to change the name to James Wynn? And James Wynn, he just farmed on the meme coin, farmed on volume, he farmed on cloud, and he would be able to farm moving further as well. Yeah, this pace is pretty insane. And where these things essentially are coming from? Eric Stevens, one of the meme coin guys in the space, quite an OG, quite an older meme coin guy out there. I do believe he's behind a range of launches out there that are farming people from time to time, but that's just another thing. I think it helps here because these people from these circles, it's easier for them to spot guys who are doing the same thing, right? Them. Did the entity James Wynn real pay to pretend? Was him really blow up their account? How's he supposed to keep LARPing now? If you knew James like I do, you'd know he never had that kind of money, and even if he did, he wouldn't be dumb enough to lose it all. That's a very interesting take, because I'm also saying, like, James Wynn was actually subscribed, he was following me on X just a year ago, right? And people that knew stuff about him, they would never say that, yeah, the guy essentially had this type of money in the first place. It's pretty insane. I'm going to pay the number 2 Hyperliquid whale to update his name to Slim Gurio. Please someone put me in touch with him. We will then proceed to shill meme coins together. This idea is just an idea. It's a very interesting. So like people who are meme coins, who are shilling, who are launching their own projects, who are probably farming from time to time as well, they're starting to see this clever marketing plot that in reality, this is attempt number 2, right? It's not the first attempt, right? Because again, with his Ethereum wallet, he racked so many meme coins, he farmed so many meme coins before, and again, someone who has tens of millions of dollars in Pepper would probably not be doing that. And then we're coming to Crush. This is honestly like one of the main things to me in order to understand the whole situation fully, because I was here a year ago, and around this time, I was actually recording videos about bread. When bread, firstly, went down to $220 million market cap, and it was like a setup by the influencers on the market at the time that the first day, leverage perps were actually available for bread. They started to flood it like crazy. They started to share information that essentially bread is a supply control coin in the first place, that the team had 95% of the supply, that it was whitelisted, and that essentially they dumped more than 50% of the supply that they had just in the first months. When they were screaming about bread, it would happen in March of 2024, right? This was essentially this dump, right? And so we're here. I do remember James Wynn saying, guys, I have 2% in bread. I have 2% in bread on spot. What I actually just did, I just opened a 7-figure short, and I will start dumping my bread supply right now. This is something James Wynn essentially said. What happened right after? This shit bounced back, right? The guy would 100% get fucking liquidated, because 7-figure short, in order to not get liquidated, you need quite a lot of margin in this shit, right? He would get liquidated 100%, and he never had any fucking 2% of the supply. And that's why I'm saying that probably the guy is not from UK, because the way he communicates, the things that he's sharing, like they're just too blatant, they're just too weak. Like the lies that he's providing, they're not in the proper place out there. Just, I feel like he's somewhere from South Asia. Games, losses again, James Wynn. I'm not one to celebrate anyone lost 99% of the time, but like his name, Games is simply F-God, right? Shorted and tried to find the bottom of bread, then tried to promote a some 3 million market cap bread. So this is one of the coins that he was shilling a bunch of them. Then deleted his tweets about shorting bread and tried to slide in my DMs like the bitch that he is. If someone bought his account recently, I think they did, that account still remains my bitch regardless of the owner. So actually that means I've owned 2 of the people behind Games losses account. This stuff is even crazier, because Crush is definitely very well connected with all the people who are farming and rugging these spaces. We have a full currently, all these influencers out there. And the fact that he thinks that the account of James Wynn just got bought, imagine the level of cancer, mental shithole this place actually is. Main character is the guy who tried to scam people one way like this already. He racked and farmed a bunch of meme coins. Right now he's doing it the second time, and everyone is putting him like as a main character on the pedestal, like he's going on crypto banter and things like that. And it's insane. There could be just anonymous party behind his account, probably somewhere from India. Like, this is something I'm hinting, right? Just through the way he communicates, because to my understanding, he's not communicating on his posts as someone from UK, from like as a native English speaker. He's not doing that from my point of view. If James Wynn real is not a bitch and wants to prove it, I dare him to short bread again now publicly. Do it, both of my bitches behind the game's loss account. Yeah, so this is some of the posts. I have just opened a 7-figure short on base bread. The date of this was, yeah, at 42, and this thing went to 54 right after. So it went 30% higher from here. So he would get liquidated 100%, right? And he never talked about it after. Mark my words, it's all for bread. This thing is going to flop. It never happens. Also, like, he was just farming cloud, essentially attaching himself to people that were trying to damage bread at the time because they were shorting the fuck out of it. So this is the whole situation. My goal here was just to provide you with the overview, with the real overview of what is happening on this market. And imagine the state of things if the guy like this is someone who's everyone talking about at this stage. And like, it's not only in English speaking space, like everywhere around the world they could just comment and it's probably just some scammy party out there. It's probably not even like one guy. That's absolutely insane. Let me know what you actually think about the situation. What is the information that you have? Are there any other theories or any info that you have in the comments? I would be very interested to check on them and to read them as well. Thank you very much. Stay healthy and rich. I will surely be seeing you in some time. Bye bye.